So we are here for FIU football's weekly media availability pregame for this week against Delaware. Coach Willie Simmons at the podium. Coach just made me an opening statement about last week's Shula Bowl, this week against Delaware, and then we'll open it up to the room for some questions.
Yes, definitely. Good to see everybody. Again, great weekend, as we talked about Saturday. Huge win over our in-state rival. I thought the guys played, a great second half. Didn't play our best first half, but did enough to stay in the game, which I think is the mark of a good football team. That even when you're not your best, you still stay around long enough to get things going. So we're maturing as a team. We're growing every week, learning more and more about ourselves, what our strengths are, what are the things we got to improve upon. So this will be a critical week because we have a really, really good Delaware team coming to town. Conference play starts this week, so even though we started the season probably better than maybe some had expected, it really matters now. They all count now because it's conference play. So all of our goals are still ahead of us, and you want to be in the driver's seat as long as you possibly can. And right now we're in the driver's seat, but so are they. And so you'll have a motivated team coming in with something to prove. First year FBS, obviously want to show that they belong in the big boy league. So we definitely know we're going to get their best shot. We got to match their intensity, match their energy, and exceed their execution. And if we do that, we think we'll give ourselves the best chance. So excited about this week. Another opportunity. Looking forward to seeing a great crowd out at Pitbull Stadium. We've had 2 great weeks of attendance, great atmospheres, and that should become the standard around here. So definitely looking forward to seeing what this week's crowd will look like. Because again, we need everyone to get behind this team to give us that added home field advantage to take on a really tough Delaware team.
Coach, congratulations first of all on the big win. And a couple questions about your wide receivers. First of all, McGuire Anderson is a kid that I didn't hear a whole lot about in the preseason. Can you talk about how he's improved and what he does well?
Yeah, McGuire's been a guy that's really been making plays for us in practices really since the spring. So he was probably our most improved wide receiver coming out of spring practice. He was a guy that just continued to make plays day in and day out, and never complained, just continued to work. He's been a special teams demon for us all season, and we always talk about when your opportunity comes, you got to make the most of it. And so obviously he got his chance last week to come in and play, and definitely made the most of those opportunities, leading us in catches and making some explosive plays, especially the big ball down the field. So McGuire's a player that we're going to continue to expand his role in this offense because we got to get the passing game going. We challenged the receivers today and the rest of the week that we're running the ball really well. We're protecting it for all intents and purposes for the most part. Defensively playing really well. But right now throwing the football is probably our Achilles heel. And it's not for lack of talent. It's not for lack of bodies. It's not scheme. It's just execution. And so we got to make sure that we improve the execution. But that starts with how we practice every day. And if all the guys have the same practice mentality that McGuire Anderson has, then I think we'll be a much more prolific offensive passing team.
And to follow up on that, Coach, we talked Friday about T.Y. Hilton and trying to make this, among other things, in the conference. It'd be great if it could be wide receiver you and all that kind of stuff, building what T.Y. Hilton did, and most recently Chambers and Mitchell. This year so far, nobody has really truly emerged with big numbers. Do you like that in the sense that their teams can't game plan for one receiver, or would you rather have that bell cow wide receiver that here's our go-to guy?
Well, I think it's 6 one half dozen the other. Obviously, anytime you have a dynamic player, you want that. So if we did have a featured guy like a T.Y. Hilton, obviously you find as many ways as possible to get him the ball. And that's probably the element that we lack right now is that we don't feel we necessarily have a guy who can kind of be our gadget guy to where you run them on the jet sweeps, you're throwing the bubble screens, and you get them involved in the passing game. Our receivers are kind of receivers. Our running backs are kind of been running backs. Our tight ends are probably the best combination of blocking and receiving guys, but that's their position. They got to do both. So, again, still looking for that dynamic guy that if teams decide to make it a matchup game, we know where we have a favorable matchup. Right now, we're just lights is charged with going through his progressions and getting the ball to the open guy, or throwing somebody open in zone coverage. But anytime you have a player that you say, okay, they go man coverage, this is my guy. As a quarterback, you want that. As a play caller, you want that. And we're still looking for someone to separate themselves to become that guy. Like I said, again, it's not for lack of talent. I think we have some guys in the room who are capable of doing it. For whatever reason, they just hadn't done it yet. So hopefully in the next 4 days, somebody will give us the confidence to say if Delaware decides to come out and play man coverage, that's what we want. We're going to win that one-on-one because this guy's that dynamic and makes plays consistently. So, yeah, we're looking for that wide receiver, one featured receiver, just like KJ's become the featured back. But if not, if no one separates themselves, then it may be receiver by committee. So don't know who's going to be the lead receiver every week. And if that's the case, then as a play caller, I got to be smart in how we call the game for lights to make sure that he feels confident that the guys out there can get the job done.
I guess obviously opening conference play, just what have you seen from the conference as a whole? Obviously, you mentioned playing one of the two new teams. You have to play a couple other ones with Western, Liberty, and St. Petersburg. It's been pretty good in the past.
Yeah, well, I think you see the conference being extremely competitive. You look at, we just beat an American Conference team. Delaware just beat an independent team, but that won 9 games last season. Missouri State had SMU down early, team in the ACC. So you coming into the league, you hope that the new teams are, kind of got a little ways to go, but clearly that's not the case. And so it's a league that is wide open right now, and I think that's a good thing for the conference, that every week you have good matchups, and I think that builds the strength in the brand, especially as we get closer and closer to October, when we're the only games on. When people look up and see a Conference USA game, they're interested because the programs have done well and that we built, some fan excitement. And so I think that's the goal. But I think because of the play that's been on the field so far, we're getting closer and closer to that.
What stands out to you about Delaware?
Man, they're a physical, fundamentally sound football team. You don't find many weaknesses. Quarterback's very dynamic. Makes plays with his arm, with his legs. They're in the Northeast, so you expect them to have really good size. Defensively, their scheme poses some challenges because of what they do, and with mixing up fronts and bringing pressures from all over the place. And they're just, kicking game, they're just going to be really, really sound. So they're a team that's going to force you to execute at a high level. They're going to force you to do things right, to run the right route depths, to find open grass, for quarterbacks to go through his progressions, for the offensive line to pick up blitzes and pressures. Defensively, they're going to challenge you to get lined up. They will play with tempo. They do have the quarterback run game element, which always poses problems because it forces you to get an extra head in the run game. So, yeah, we'll have our hands full. It'll be definitely a game of momentum swings, and we have to make sure that we take their best punch, stay on our feet, and be able to come back and counter and play our game when it's all said and done.
What about the confidence of this defense that you've seen from the players and coaches after what they were able to do against Penn State and now most recently against FIU? Just talk about how confident you've noticed that they are, that they can run the table against anybody that Conference USA has to offer.
Yeah, I think they're playing with a lot of confidence. They're seeing their practice habits show up in games, and I think that's what builds confidence. When you go out and work every day, you put in the practice days, 5 days of practice a week for that one opportunity on Saturdays. You want to see the stuff that you do an individual, the stuff that you walk through. When you go team, you want to see those things show up on film. So when they come to the sideline, you could tell a player, you made that tackle because you tackled the way that we tackled in practice. The first week against Bethune, I think we punched the ball out 2 or 3 times. And that was a huge point of emphasis for us in training camp, of tackling and punching the ball out. So Donald, our equipment manager, got the big donut, tackling donut, and we have this mechanism to tape a ball to the inside of the donut. So you work on tackling, but you also work on punching the ball out. Well, we punch balls out now, and we didn't do that as much last year. So when that happens, of course, as a player, you're like, oh, wow, it does work, right? And that's really what you want. You want the drills to show up. We talk about habits. That's what it's all about, because when you get in the game, you can't think about those things. Like that's football. Football moves too fast that if you're thinking when the ball is snapped, you're going to be behind. So everything has to be habitual. It's all about muscle memory and about training your body to do what's required when it's time to do it, because you don't have time to think about what step to take, what leverage to get, where I put my hands. You can't think about that stuff, because if you do, you're going to be slower. So we got to work really hard to create really good habits, but our guys are doing that defensively, and I think that's why you're seeing them make the plays. And there's no surprise that we had 3 picks last week. We work on ball skills, ball drills as a defense every day. right? And so that's the encouraging part, and I think that's why those guys are having the confidence that they're playing with.
You kind of touched play of the game. We saw Langford in there. Just where did that come from? What makes him the right guy to put him in these situations?
Well, he's a very dynamic guy, and we're trying to, following up on that question, just still trying to find a ball in hand guy that you can. I have a spot on my call sheet called pinball plays. You get a pinball machine. My kids love gumballs, so you just put a quarter in, roll it. You might get blue, you might get white, you might get orange. They always complain when they get. I forgot which color it is that they hate to get, but it's like, hey, that's the luck of the draw. You can't control what you get when you spin it, and so we have that to where you want to have 4 or 5 names in that to say, okay, if I want this guy to get a touch, this is a play that guarantees that the ball gets in his hands. If I want this guy to get it, here's a play that guarantees. There's no progression. He's getting the ball on this play. And I've always had that. We just haven't been able to do that this year. Obviously, Katie's a running back, so you don't have to put the running back in the pinball machine. You just call a run. But if you want to get the running back in space, maybe, that goes into that pinball category. So C5 has shown that he's probably the most dynamic guy we have with the ball in his hand. So trying to find some creative ways to get him in space. We may expand that package. Coach Coleman and I have kind of talked about it. Is there a way to do that but still preserve his red shirt? Obviously he gets to 4 games, so we don't want to burn it with him playing 1 snap a game. So we got to be smart and strategic. But he's a dynamic football player who's got a very bright future here. But we just got to make sure we're smart with him and that we don't burn a year.
You kind of touched on it in one of your earlier answers, but when it comes to this Delaware offense, right, what are they doing that maybe is different from what Penn State threw at you or FIU threw at you, and how are you preparing the team to really, face that, especially with them being conference players?
I think the biggest difference for them is that they're committed to running the quarterback. And whenever you have the type of offense that incorporates the quarterback run, it creates a new element. Penn State, that kid is projected to be a top 5, possibly number 1 overall pick. You're not doing too many quarterback runs with a guy that is trying to go get paid millions of dollars to play NFL quarterback. Same thing with last weekend. A big, tall kid, big arm, but not a runner in the sense that you're going to design quarterback runs. Can escape, can extend plays, but that's not really what you do. And so as a defense, you don't really have to account for that. You got to account for him scrambling and extending plays, but you don't have to account for zone read, power read, things like that, where you divide the defense and getting vertical at the same time. Well, these guys do this. They do that. So now it's a version of triple option offense out of the shotgun, again, which poses a lot of problems because it forces you to be disciplined. You have to play assignment football. Somebody has to have the dive, the running back downhill. Somebody has to have the quarterback. Somebody has to have the receiver on the perimeter because it's triple option football. And so for us, defensively, this is probably the first team that's going to force us to scheme against a team that runs triple option. They're just not doing it like the academy schools under center, wing, double, single wing. They're doing it out of shotgun. So that's probably the biggest challenge for us defensively is that's a huge part of their offense. And they have some dynamic guys. Their running backs are 10, 500-meter guys. So you let him get a step on you, he can go the distance. And so they've been prolific on offense this year, and they've done a really good job. But it all centers around their quarterback. So we got to find a way to affect him for 60 minutes.
And then when it comes to their offense, has this Delaware defense from the first few games that they played really shown anything where it's like, hey, maybe we're going to have to implement some different things, or is it more, we're going to be ourselves no matter what type of scheme we're facing on a week-to-week basis?
Well, I think every week you try to look for something that you can take advantage of and maybe give them something they haven't prepared for. I think the multiplicity of our offense helps us because when you look at us on tape, you see a lot of formations, a lot of motions, a lot of personnel groupings. And we're trying to run the same base plays but just give you different presentations. So for us, we got to be smart. You can't be vast in presentation and vast in play selection. That's just too much. And in a 20-hour week, you can't practice all of those looks. So it's in the NFL where this is their job and that's all they have. These guys practice in the morning, and when they get done, they're lifting weights right now. As soon as they get done with weights, they got class, and they'll be in class for the rest of the afternoon. Then they have study hall. Then they have free. So they're not living in a facility that we can put 100 plays on them. So we'll have a couple of maybe wrinkles of how we do some things, but for the most part, our base offense is our base offense. And it's our job to create different pictures and looks to confuse the defense. But every week you try to find something that you can take advantage of. Every week, every defense, every offense, every team has vulnerabilities. It's our job to find them and exploit them. So we got a few more days to try to put some things on tape, but we'll have a good game plan that our guys should be comfortable with. Now it's just a matter of us going in and executing it and being able to build the confidence for me to call plays, knowing that the guys are going to know what to do and know how to run them.
When preparing for this game, just how much film have you seen or will be watching of Delaware's game against UConn? It just so happens to be the next two opponents. This team will be facing a very high-scoring game where the offenses look good, the defenses look bad a couple of times. Just how much film has that game been helping you?
Well, yeah, it was their last game, obviously, so we watched that one more than anything else. But the key is that we got to watch Delaware. And if we're watching Delaware versus UConn, two teams that we don't play UConn for another couple of weeks. We got Delaware in a bye week, then UConn. So, no, we're going to watch Delaware. So when I'm watching Delaware's defense versus UConn's offense, I can't find myself watching UConn saying, oh, wow, they do this. Let me go tell the Coach DeWitt to be prepared in 2 weeks because they're doing this. No, our sole focus this week is Delaware. And so, we're breaking down their game. We're breaking down their first two opponents as well as games from last season. So that's just a challenge every week. And it's going to be the same in conference play because you start playing crossover games and you're playing against teams that are in the conference that you're going to play down the road. So that's just the discipline of being a coach to keep the main thing. Even if it's a bigger game coming up that you feel down the line, a rivalry game or something, you got to be disciplined enough to focus on what's in front of you. And right now, the Delaware Blue Hens are what's in front of us, and that's the film that we're going to watch. And so once that game's over, UConn's up next. We'll focus on UConn then. But 100% this week is all about Delaware.
Last question for
Coach,
Coach.
last one for me, or last one, I guess. KJ, what traits does he have that have allowed him, as you said, to emerge as your top running back?
Well, I think he has a great combination of skills. He's sturdy. He's over 200 pounds. He's put together, compact, has good functional speed, good balance. And he can square his shoulders up and get downhill and break tackles. So he's a guy that's a natural running back. A lot of the attributes of running back is probably the position that's the most natural to play. If you got to teach a guy to be a running back, it's probably not going to be a very good one. I think KJ Owens was born to play running back. He looks like a running back. He's built like a running back. Walks on his toes like a running back. I mean, everything about him just says running back. So I'm not surprised. I said it coming out of spring. This kid is arguably one of our best players on the entire team. He's a guy that I know we got to ride and get the most out of because this is his last go-round. He's not like Lights or some of the other guys that you possibly got him for another year or two. No, this is it for him. And so, but no, coming out of the spring and coming out of training camp, we felt pretty strongly that KJ had a chance to have a breakout season. Right now he's ninth in the nation in rushing, which is a huge accomplishment for him. But hopefully we can continue that type of production and him not slow down. Because if he's rolling every week, we got a chance to be really good. And right now he's playing really, really good football, and we got to continue that. And all 11 guys have to buy into that concept that if it gets to a turn around and hand it to KJ 20 times a game, then that's what we got to do. And when we throw it, let's be efficient. Let's make the most of it, knowing that next play might be another handoff to KJ. And that's the unselfish part about being a really good football team. But most dominant teams have the running element, and if we can maintain that, which we've done in the first 3 weeks, I think we give ourselves a chance in every ball game.
Awesome. Thank you. Could you talk a little bit about what you saw out there in the Shula Bowl, something that's close to your heart, and then what you've seen out in Delaware this week, and then open up for some questions?
How we doing, fella? How we doing today? Just guys flying around, preparing during the week. They prepared really, really good that week, and they just trusted what they see. I mean, they took the coaching point, the tips we gave them, and they just executed Saturday. And for Delaware, good team, good quarterback, got a great running back, got some great receivers. So another tough week, another good game, another battle going to be. So we got to prepare ourselves and get ready for the week.
Hey, Coach, what have you seen out of Brian Blaze this year? Came into the season with a lot of hype as he lived up to it. What have you seen out of his play?
Just doing him, playing his game. Lockdown corner as we expected. The guy just come to work every day and put the work in. So he playing up to the standard that we expect him to play at.
And what about Mr. Clark? He came up with a pick, and how have you seen him? He didn't play that much last year. How have you seen him emerge? What does he do well?
Be honest, when he came as a true freshman, seeing him coming that summertime, he showed he was able to be a starter. It just he ended up getting hurt that year. That set him back a little bit, but he always had to show potential that he was going to be the guy, and now he's finally got the opportunity to play, and he's making the best out of it.
Sorry, right
No,
over.
one more, Kevin, I'm sorry. And also, you were one of the holdovers from the previous staff.
Yeah.
What's it like to be on this staff? What's it like coaching for Coach Simmons? You guys are off to a great start. Tell me a little bit about that. If you would.
It's a blessing. It's a blessing, man. The guy's a winner. One thing he do, he let you coach the guys. That's what I appreciate that. But just the mindset he got, the winning mindset, the way he run his program as a leader. You won't want to be on no other leadership than that. Phenomenal guy, not just a coach, but a phenomenal guy. And like I say, he preach on the family and faith, and not only talk about it, he live it. So that's a good thing about that is, just really grateful and thankful that he retained me, and happy for it.
Sorry, running over to the trophy.
Yeah.
How exciting was that, and finally winning, that game?
Oh man, it was a relief a little bit. Not they never beat them before, and finally getting that one, just enjoying the moment at that time, and it's just unexplainable at that time. It's an unexplainable moment, but it was great, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed it.
We talked about Delaware, and Willie was kind of mentioning with their quarterback a little bit more dual threat. Just how much different is that preparation, knowing that you went up against a couple guys who really were more passing quarterbacks rather than doing both of them, especially more on the run side?
Oh man, whenever you're facing a quarterback like that who's running and pass the ball, you gotta really lock in and scheme up some plays for this guy. He's a phenomenal guy, like I say, he's good with his arm and his feet. So that's calling the coaches, just finding a way what we're gonna play, then giving it to the players and that helping them execute what we coaching them up to do.
When it comes to your room, a lot of young guys in it that, flashing things, and now over the first 3 weeks have had some really good performances. Talk about that progression that you've seen from them, and now heading into the Delaware week, what's the biggest thing you want to see from them facing, an offense that maybe isn't like the ones that you faced the first 3 weeks?
What I tell the guys all the time is never about another team. It's all about what we do. Just for us, just come to work each and every day and put the work in, trusting the scheme that we're gonna put in, trusting the coaches, and like I said, just play our football. I mean, yes, we've been playing the last 3 weeks of our football, and that's gonna take care of itself. Yes, we play opponents, but at the end of the day, it's ball down to what we do and trusting in what we do and believing in it. So, the young guys believing in the system. They trust in themselves, one, but they believe in the system also. So that when they go hand in hand like that, that's a great thing. It can come together.
Talking about Mr. Clark, just talk about how important that interception to close out the first half was for that defense, just swing the momentum and lead to what we saw in the second half.
I think that was a game-changing play right there. I mean, they score on that drive to go up two possession, and for him to change the game right there and flip the flip on that one right before halftime, I thought that was a next level play, big time play, and that guy work his butt off every day. You see the work he put in, and what he been through, the adversity for him to overcome that, man, and it tell you what type of guy he is. So it was phenomenal. I think that was a big time play, and that's what we expect out of them guys, to make them type of plays in the moments.
Another guy who really stood out is Ashton Level, another guy who came coming off the injury. Just what have you seen from him so far?
Competitive, a guy who just continue to work each and every day, and when his name is called, he answered the phone. So like I say, them guys just putting the work in each and every day and understand that every opponent gonna test us on the outside. So just preparing themselves on the way they practice and the way they prepare themselves, and that's big, and that's how they performing on Saturday, having a good performance on Saturday.
Delaware's, of course, coming off that overtime win. Just talk about how important it'll be to slow down that offense as soon as you can in this game, similar to what you did against Florida Atlantic.
It's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be a challenge. Like I said, they got some good receivers, got a great quarterback, good running back, and good O-line. So we prepared to challenge these guys. We know we gonna get their best, and that's what we expect. So, like I say, continue to watch film on the guys, on them, and continue to try to see, where we could attack them at. But it's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a battle, and we got to prepare ourselves each and every day to leading up to the game.
When it comes to Delaware, what have you seen from the wideouts in terms of maybe how they run their routes, maybe how the offense schemes them up, and then looking at you guys, like, is there a specific, basically, like, scheme idea or like game plan that you are keying on in terms of facing this team?
Delaware got some good receivers. Like I say, these physical receivers they run great routes. They turn a 3-yard gain into a 20-yard gain, 30-yard gain, or hit a home run. So just being prepared, like I say, just doing what we do. Don't change nothing up. Just play our game. And that's we're gonna continue to preach to these guys. Just come to work, trust the scheme we put in and just trust it, man. And when we go out there, play with confidence and go out there and have fun.
How badly do you and the rest of the guys want this game to start on time as opposed to another multiple hour-long delay at Pickle Stadium?
I mean, we undefeated when we got a delay, so it won't matter. But however it comes, that's the least thing we worry about right now. Whenever you got to kick off, that's when we're gonna kick off, man. I mean, we're not worrying about if it's gonna be a delay or it's not gonna be late. That's minor, and we just try to focus on the major thing is just getting ready to when the ref do blow that whistle that we're ready to go.
Coach, I know you coach the corners, but these freshman safeties have been very good. What do you have to say about those boys, McGrew and Serta?
First off, Coach Scrap do a great job with them guys. You got two freshman guys, and they just feeding off each other. I mean, just, iron sharpening iron, and I guess they just feeding off one getting interception, competing, and the other getting interception. And that's what you need. And this is a brother love competition, that what you would love in the back end, that them guys continue to, play with each other and feed off each other. So when you got a secondary playing like that, especially two young guys with a bright future, that just show you where this program heading at. Like I said, Coach Scrap do a great job with them guys, coaching them up and getting them guys ready for to play on Saturday. So, I mean, them guys doing a great job in the back end.
How much credit do you give to that defensive line kind of pressuring the quarterback and forcing those uncharacteristic throws? I think all three of them were under pressure for those interceptions.
Give them all the credit. Without them, we don't get an interception, man. We tell them guys all the time, man. It starts from the front end with the D lineman. I mean, without them, I don't care how good you is, how good you could cover. So we give praise to them guys, man. And we got a bound pizza, but all praise go to the D line. Coach KU do a great job of getting them guys even prepared. So, like I say, it starts in the front. So yes, they get all the praise,
I think you were there for TY's,
yeah, Hall of Fame. Yes.
How cool was that to see him again?
I thought it was well overdue for him. It was a great experience. I think well deserved for him, and I'm happy for him that we were able to, acknowledge his compliment what he did for this program and how he put this program on the map. So, congrats on that, and I think, like I said, it was way overdue for him to be in the Hall of Fame.
Any more questions for Coach Gaitor? All right. Just like an opening statement about last week in the Shula Bowl briefly, maybe anything you've seen about Delaware, and then we'll open up for some questions.
Gotcha. First of all, I want to thank God, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. About the Shula Bowl, great team win. Shout out to the defense, Coach Willie and the rest of the staff, helping us come out on top. Pause up, baby.
Hey, Lights, Coach was talking about how there isn't one wide receiver particularly who's stepped above like we've had previously with Mitchell and Chambers and stuff like that. Well, what are your thoughts on that, and how has your role changed when you don't have that one main guy? Maybe you have to go through your progressions more. How does it affect you?
I wouldn't say it really affects me, but like you said, I just got to go through my progression. So we haven't found a guy who, we like super confident that's going to win the one-on-one matchup every single time. But it's still early in the season. Those guys got time, but it all starts in practice. I feel like we could get better and practice at those things, but it's going to come. It's just a timing thing right now, and the confidence.
And Coach also talked about McGuire Anderson and how he felt he was the most improved receiver coming out of spring. What do you like about his game? What has made him effective as he has been so far?
True statement. But McGuire, he's a hard worker. And like Coach said, from the spring, you can see it like early on. He's one of those guys that's going to give you 110% every play, every time he's in. He's running full speed. If he got a deep route, you got to put it out there because he's running for real. A lot of guys, there's not too much like that. But McGuire, he's one of those guys. He's going to make the play. He's not really too much sneaky, but a lot of people don't know about him. But as you guys see, he's a playmaker, and he's going to play a big role for us this season.
How much of a sigh of relief was to get the first passing touchdown for you?
I wouldn't say it's a relief because, we supposed to been put the ball in the air, in the end zone through the air, but it's it's kind of frustrating right now. But like Coach said, it's a challenge to us, so we got to click at some point. But I'm going to take that upon myself, step up, take control, and I'll say be more efficient as much as I can. I'm protecting the ball, though, great thing, but we got to connect.
Just talking about your decision making, where do you think it's been out of those first 3 weeks, and where do you think you say your decision making?
It's getting better every single week. Of course I had that one interception last week. But that was like kind of an accident type of thing. It wasn't like a panic interception. That's what it looked like from the stands and stuff. But I was actually throwing my tight end, and my offensive lineman just blocked the guy, and he just so happened to be right there, so he caught the ball. But other than that, I'm getting through my progressions pretty good. I'm making the right reads, making the right throws. We just, haven't been able to hit the balls that we want to, as far as like deep and things like that.
You've been able to kind of get some stuff going on the ground. I know it's not your preference, but like, is there something they're doing defensively from a scheme standpoint that's like, oh, they're just covering everybody up, or they're playing off coverage, and you're just like, if you guys are gonna give it to me and no spy, I'm gonna run.
There you go. So at times they try to like play over top, take away the pass game from us, but kudos to our offensive line. Those guys are doing a great job on the ground, and our backs as well, being dynamic, and we are able to run the ball as good as we can. But eventually, teams gonna try to load the box on us, and then you guys will see more of the passing game. But nobody has been able to stop the run yet. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
My other question for you is, you guys had 7 20-plus yard plays in the game.
Mm-hmm.
3 were in the passing game, 4 were in the running game.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about what that can do for the offense to have the multiple options that you have out there.
You need those type of plays in the game. So you want explosive. The explosives keep the game going, and it gives you momentum throughout the game.
How important do you consider that Penn State game as far as what the offense was and was not able to do to help prepare you for an opponent like Florida Atlantic and pretty much the rest of the way here as we get towards conference play?
Ask that one more time, please.
How important was playing against an opponent like Penn State as far as what you were and were not able to do, you and the offense, to just sort of prepare you to take on both Florida Atlantic, Delaware, and the rest of the opponents you have?
It gave us like a glimpse of our nature. Coach talked to us about this after the game too as well. As you can see, like when we playing together and doing what we're supposed to do and executing, like nobody can really play with us, and we could do whatever we want in the run game and in the pass game when everybody executing and doing their 111. But even though we lost, we actually played good. We fought. We got some fighters on the team, but overall, I feel like we got a great scheme. Like Coach said, it ain't the scheme, but those plays gonna come. It's just timing. Like I said.
What have you noticed the most about Delaware's defense? They've given up 31, 41 points their last couple of games.
Yeah.
What have you seen from the system they play and how you ready for it?
Crazy front. You know what I'm saying? You can't win the game rushing 4 with 3 down. Let me not say you can't win, but it's kind of hard because, you're not really applying pressure on the quarterback, so you're giving a lot of time back there, a lot of open spots in your zones, or you're trying to play man coverage, and you might not have as much talent on the outside. Guys taking shots and stuff like that. But we're going to take it week by week, day by day. I like what I'm seeing from them. Great team. Like Coach told us and preached to us today and yesterday, we got to be attention to detail. They're a detailed team, and we're going to have to beat them, basically executing the little things.
What were these first 3 games? It feels like week after week after week, there's been a little bit of progression in terms of, you guys hitting the big plays, you guys hitting more and more in the pass game. What has been the focus this week to ensure that first conference game against Delaware, you guys are in the ground running and have even more success in that passing game?
Just carry on that momentum, continue to do what we can do, and establish the run. That's no more priority. Establish the run, and then our challenge this week is throw the ball more, like Coach told us today. We gotta connect in the passing game because we can't be one-dimensional. You know what I'm saying? So. Other than that, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, progressing like he said, and it's going to click.
Coach mentioned it and Kevin asked Coach about it earlier, but what was your thoughts on the first play of the game? You see one of your QB brothers out there at the wideouts. I knew you've probably seen that play before, but just your thoughts, first play of the game, and it's you out there, and it's Christian Lang.
We talked about it all week. You know what I'm saying? Coach Coleman was excited for him, and I was excited for the whole quarterback room was excited for him. But that was just one of those moments, you get to see one of those guys, what he's capable of, and you know what he could do, but he's a young bud. So it was like an exciting moment. I wanted to see, him go 60 on the first play of the game, but it's all good. We're going to keep trying to give him the ball as much as we can because he's real dynamic and he's fast. So we're going to try to use him as much as we can in the best way as we can.
Did you know you were opening the game with that?
Yeah, they tell us. It's either they tell us pregame or right before, this is what we got, we'll do.
When it comes to Delaware's defensive scheme, have what they've shown over the first 3 games really made you guys be like, okay, you know, we're going to potentially have to do some things that we haven't done
Nah.
for our first 3 games, or is it more of just sticking to
We're gonna stick to the script, even if though I can't give it away. We coming though, Delaware.
Any more questions for Lights Out?